Okay, here goes. What's the agenda for today? Somebody's asking what all is there. So the agenda for today is as follows. We are going to give you first, I'm going to start off and give you one surprise. So there is one very, very basic surprise to even begin with. So we're going to start with that, right? There's a surprise here. We're going to do a very simple Python project. This Python project is going to involve APIs, it's going to involve JSON, and it's going to involve very, very basics of pandas. Okay. Now, what is API? What is JSON? I did not take some random 4 or 5 alphabets and combine them together to do this. We'll tell you what is an API, what is JSON, and so on, right? So we're going to tell you all of these things and what is pandas as well, right? So it's meant to be an introductory project, and you will get an idea of all these 3 libraries. I'll tell you exactly how to do this project. So we'll introduce this to you, and then we'll actually tell you how to actually do the project, and then how to get the certificate. So once you're done the project, how you can actually obtain the certificate of the project as well, right? So this is the other thing that you're going to be doing. All right, perfect. Okay. Now, to begin with, I'll just give you one surprise to start with, right? So the surprise is as follows. Out of the first 100 people to complete this project, so I'm going to give you this project, and then we'll give you the link to actually do this project. And out of the first 100 people who complete this project, 5 people will actually get gift vouchers. So 5 people will actually get gift vouchers from us. What you have to do is you have to complete the project, you have to get the certificate, and you have to share your certificate on LinkedIn and tag Edyst. I'll give you an example as well. If you do this, then you will get 5 random lucky people are going to get a 100 rupees gift voucher as well, right? And you can use that gift voucher anywhere on Amazon, PVR, Book My Show, Swiggy, whatever, right? So you can use it wherever you want, but only 5 people will get it, and you need to be among the first 100 to actually complete the project. Is it a good surprise, everyone? How many of you are going to actually do this project now? If I tell you that the project takes at max 1 hour to do, how many of you are actually going to do this project now? I give you more, your NE is going to get certificate, and I've given you more incentive to do this. So, yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. Great. Good to see. So many of you interested. Awesome. Brilliant. And what about people on YouTube? Okay. So YouTube people also gonna try. Somebody's saying, perfect. All right. Let me see who gets. And just before I start ahead, I also want to say that please do subscribe. Okay. And how do you share it? This is how you share it, by the way. I'll tell you that also. But before, how do you do it? Is you'll go to LinkedIn, and you'll get a certificate of completion. So go to LinkedIn and share the certificate over there. So this is basically one of our students who shared their Java certificate on LinkedIn. This is what they have done. And you can do the same thing over there. So once you completed your project, please go ahead on LinkedIn and share the certificate. 5 lucky people are going to get a certificate, a gift voucher as well. All right. The other thing, if you want to know about such offers and many other things, right? Coming up, please do like our social media channels. So please go ahead and like us, follow us on Instagram. It's Edyst me, and go and subscribe on Edyst. And if you're watching on YouTube, everybody, please do hit the subscribe button. It just helps us, and you will keep getting to know more about such projects. We have, in fact, another project coming up in the next week as well, right? So please do check that out. All right, let me just see. Perfect. Okay, somebody saying YouTube link is not working. No, I don't think so, because most people are watching it on YouTube as well. Okay, great. So follow us on Instagram, and go to Edyst the YouTube channel to get the YouTube details as well, and subscribe us on YouTube. Now, one last time I'm going to tell everybody, because I'm getting a lot of such messages, right? If voice is not clear, right? If voice is not clear, or if you're not getting, please join the YouTube link, right? The link is mentioned in the chat. So please join the YouTube link. Even if voice is not clear or whatever, please join the YouTube link. All the voice, everything is clear over there. So you will not have any issues. Okay. People on YouTube, can you just give me a quick thumbs up? Yes, it's clear. Everything is clear. Can I get that on YouTube? Right. It'll take 1 second for you to tell me. But yeah. So somebody's saying, 1 second. That okay. So somebody's saying YouTube lags by a minute. Doesn't matter if it lags by a minute. You don't have to worry over there. Okay. 1 second. Let me just see if I can change that lag, but I don't think I can. Okay, perfect. All right. So looks like most people on YouTube are able to watch it. There's no issue there. Awesome. Great. Okay, we'll get started. My team is continuously sharing, and I mean, that's all we can do right now. So my team is continuously sharing. We can't really do much apart from that. So here we goes. Here we go. I mean to say, not here it goes. Okay, perfect. Let's start, everyone. So as I said, what we're going to start with is this. Who am I? And what this session is all about. This session is about creating a simple weather app using Python. The purpose is obviously that you create this weather app, but it's more about to learn about Python and learn about the background of Python, especially how you can use Python requests. How you can use Python requests to actually work with on. Okay, one second. Sorry, I got cut off. People are saying the resolution, etc., is bad. All right, let me try to figure out a better way if I can, help you out a little bit more. One second. Perfect. So people on YouTube as well as people on the chat, tell me if my video is less blur. I hope the video should be better now. All right. So I think this should be better. All right. We will. Okay. A lot better now. Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Hopefully someday I will figure out how to give you guys best 400K quality on your mobile phones, and you can watch this in the best quality. But till that time, we will just stick to this. So I hope this one is better right now. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now shall we get started, everyone? Now shall we get started? If my voice is breaking, that I can't do anything. You'll have to go to YouTube for that. So if voice is breaking, there's nothing to do with that, right? But this is the best we can do here. Okay, so shall we get started? All right, perfect. Let's get started now. So the project is all about using Python. The project is all about using Python. You'll get a free certificate. You will learn how to query weather data. Now, the point here is that obviously querying weather data is just one part. You can use the same knowledge that you have here to do multiple things. You can get multiple things done on Python using the same concept. So I want you all to learn how we are actually doing that. Who am I? We Edyst overall is a company that helps students like you crack the best jobs. I'm one of the co-founders of this company. These logos that you see are logos where our students have interviewed and get placed. We've got more than 2,000 students placed in packages of 10 to 45 LPA, and we've got multiple students, I think about more than 10,000 students placed in services companies as well, anywhere from 3 to 10 LPA package. Why I'm telling you this is for you to trust me that whatever I'm telling you right now is actually useful for you in terms of placements. The project that you learn today in itself will not get you placed, but that project that you're going to do today is going to help you in your building your resume. And when you go for your placement rounds, that resume will look a little bit better because you actually have a live project on it. Okay. So when I tell you this, that we got so many people placed and so on, I'm telling you to make you understand that we are not giving you any theoretical knowledge. When we give you this information, it is generally useful for you in the placement rounds. And this is one such project which will definitely help you in placement. Okay. All right. So now, before we go ahead, as I mentioned, the prize that is there for everybody. Of the first 100 people who complete the project, 5 people will get a gift voucher. Once you complete the project, please go ahead and upload it on LinkedIn. The certificate that you'll get uploaded on LinkedIn, and share it, and make sure to tag Edyst so we come to know that you've done that. And once you are completed the thing, after 100 people have completed, we'll choose 5 lucky winners and you'll get a 100 rupees gift voucher for that. Let's get started, everybody. We have 3 major concepts to learn over here. There are 3 major concepts to learn here. And those concepts are APIs, JSON, and pandas. Anybody's heard of API? Can anybody tell me what is an API? You can tell me on the chat or here or on YouTube. What is an API? Have you heard of an API? What exactly is an API? Anybody? Okay, very good. So somebody has heard of what is an API. Super. Okay. Yes, very nice. So API is nothing but an application programming interface, right? Application programming interface. Now, why do we need an application programming interface? Let's dial it back a bit. In our program today, what we are going to be given is we are going to be given an input from the user. So there's going to be an input from the user. The input is going to be something like this. Now, it's going to be like this. There are 2 major challenges today. And one of the first challenges, the input is going to look like this. The input will say Delhi and date. So what is Delhi? Delhi is the name of the city. So a city will be given to you. Delhi, Hyderabad, Bombay, Bangalore, whatever. Some city is going to be given to you. It could be any international city as well. It could be like New York, San Francisco, or whatever, right? So it's going to be there. Now, that city will be given and a date will be given. And you need to find out on that date, what was the temperature in that city. All right. The program is going to be as follows. We are going to take that input from the user. The input will be the name of the city and the date at which we want to check. So these are the two things that we are going to do. After that, I want to find the weather as per the input. Now, you'll notice I put this in a separate color. I'll tell you why. This weather is going to be found out by an external system. You and I don't know the weather. We don't keep track of all the countries, all the locations, weathers at all times. Right? There are systems out there. There are governments who have invested a lot to keep a store of all of the different temperatures everywhere. Okay. Let's have a fun thing. Can you all tell me on the chat, what is the temperature in your city right now? Like write the name of your city and write the temperature in your city right now. Right? You can guess also, right? You may not know the exact one. Write the name of your city and the temperature. Okay. So in Pune, it's 28. In Chennai, it's 24. Okay. Bangalore 26, Tirupati 27, 20 in Delhi, Hyderabad 26. Okay, very nice. Gujarat 29. Gujarat's not a city. Yeah. Vizag 27, Karnool 30. Oh, okay. That's hot over there. Somebody's in Arctic and giving -3. Nice one. All right. Super. Okay. Great. Bangalore 27 and Bangalore 25. Somebody's correcting the other person also. Super. Okay. So just like this, Kanpur 20. Okay. Yeah, I have some team members in Kanpur. They're really jacketing up at this point. 29 Kakinada. Nice. Super. Guntur 29. Okay. Very nice. So we have from Bhubaneswar. I have my good Odia friends. Nice to see you. Bhubaneswar 22. Super. Ajmer 18 degrees. So we have people from everywhere, is it? This is so awesome. I'm so glad to see that everyone's there from everywhere. I can't really take all the cities' names, but thank you so much for showing up. It really means a lot. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to be given the date and we're going to be given the place that we want to find the temperature. Now, we don't know, like I didn't know what's the temperature in some of your cities at this point, right? So we will actually query a database which contains all of these different temperatures. And then based on that, we're going to print the weather. Now, the weather itself has to be printed in a particular format. So for example, we want to print that the temperature for Delhi on so-and-so date was equal to so-and-so, degrees Celsius, right? So that's what we kind of need to mention over here. So this part, the first part and the last part is going to be done by us. Okay. But the middle part is the part that is going to be done by or not going to be done by, but it's going to be queried from an external system. Okay. It's going to be queried from an external system. So these are the three parts of it. Okay. Let's go to the next thing now. Now, where do we actually get this middle part? This middle part comes from something called an application programming interface. Basically, whenever you have multiple systems working together and those systems need to communicate with each other, they use something called as an API or an application programming interface. In our case, in our scenario, the database that is there is the one that contains all of the temperatures. Now, don't worry, you don't have to set up any database at this point. Okay, there is no database that you actually have to set up. You just have to query that database. That is, you just have to get the specific data from that database. Now, no, they will not just give you access to the database like that. There is a way of asking from that database. That database will be asked via something called as API, application programming interface. Via that application, via that API, we're going to query. That API will give us data no matter which device you're on. You could be on a Mac device, on an Android device, on a Chrome browser. You could be on any device, but you can actually query that particular data. Okay. So this is where the API comes in. That is, whenever you want to communicate between different systems out there, what you need to do is you need to get this data and you need to use an API over there. And this is not just now, this happens all the time. When you're on YouTube, let's say you're watching this entire thing on YouTube, you're actually getting the data for this video via an API. Your browser is actually calling that API and delivering the data that's over there. Or let's say, when you go on WhatsApp, right? Whenever you send a message, you're actually giving an API and that API is called the post API. You're doing a post API so that you can actually create that message over there. The types of APIs that you have are, these are the 5 major verbs. These things are called verbs. 5 major verbs that you need to know. This is called HTTP verbs: post, get, put, patch, and delete. Okay. Now, we are not going to go into detail of this. This is not a detailed web development course, but just to simply tell you, whenever you want to create something new, like you're sending a message on WhatsApp, or right now on the chat, you're sending a message, that's usually a post API or post request. It's called a post request. Get request is to actually read something. So let's say you want to read a message, you want to read a blog, you want to watch a video. This is generally get. Put is updating. So let's say you want to go and update your name on an email. You want to go to Gmail and you want to update your name. You're not creating a new email account. You're just updating it. Okay. So that's called put. Patch is just updating the parts of it. So sorry, put is you have to update the entire thing. Put is you have to update the end if you want to update the entire resource. But patch is you want to update a part of it, and delete is you just want to delete the entire resource over there. Okay, so that's what the verbs are. For our scenario, we just need to remember that there's a get endpoint, and we're just going to use that get endpoint over here. Okay, everybody's clear on API, what an API is. Theoretically, conceptually, what is an API? Is everybody clear on this? What get means? Is everybody clear on this part? Conceptually, right? So for our case scenario, we just need to know that we can get the temperature of a particular location if we tell the server what we want. Okay. Is everyone clear here? What about on YouTube? Is everybody clear over there? Perfect. Okay. Second thing that we want to know on this part is why are we using get? Somebody is asking. We are using get because we just want to know the temperature at a particular position. We don't want to update. You can't go and update the temperature of some place, but on a particular date, you just want to know the temperature. So that's why we're using the get endpoint. Second thing that we all need to know is something called as the JSON. JSON. What is JSON? JSON is JavaScript object notation. Now you'll say, sir, I came for a Python project. Where does JavaScript object notation come in over here? Okay, JavaScript object notation is the format of most APIs. Now see, when an API, that is what you have here, when something is communicating with something else, like let's say, for example, you ask me for what's my age. I can give you my age in, let's say, English numerals. I can give to you in Sanskrit numerals. I can give it to you in, Chinese numerals. I can give it to you in any specific language. Or if you ask me the directions to one place, I might give it to you in a separate language altogether, right? If all of the websites communicated in their own format, then we will not be able to understand any data at all. So what most websites have done is they have converged, or they have kind of agreed that we are going to use only one format, and that format is called as the JSON format, or JavaScript object notation. It's a common format that everyone uses. It's not compulsory to use, but it is generally the major way of doing things. In fact, if you want to do, many of the servers will not allow you to do any other way. If you want to get the temperature, you need to get it in a JSON format only. Okay, so this is the JSON format. Now, what does JSON format mean? It's a very simple format. Basically, what JSON means is there is a key and a value pair. These things, name, roll number, subjects, these are called keys. This is the key part of the of JSON, and this value is, whatever the value, like name is Edyst, roll number is this, subjects are, and I put a list over here, a list or an array over here. The idea here is we give an object, and that object has key value pairs. So it's not fixed that it will have only name, roll number, and subjects. It can have multiple things as well. But whatever is the thing, there's a particular key, or there's a particular item like this, name, roll number, and then it has a value of it also. So that's what JSON is all about. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to take input from user, convert it to JSON, and send it to the server. Which server? There is a server called as an OikoLab server. This is a weather server, and I'll come to this. I'll tell you all about this server over there. But we're going to take input from the user ourselves. We're going to find the weather as per the input. We're going to find the weather as per whatever input has been given to us. Okay. And then we are going to again take that weather that is going to come from JSON. So we're going to take that weather and print that answer based on that weather. So we will communicate to it in JSON and we will get the weather back also in JSON, right? And how are we going to actually send this JSON and receive this JSON message? We are going to use something called as an API. Okay. So everybody, please tell me this also. When I take input from user, how will I send it to the API? Or how will I send it to OikoLab? How am I going to actually send it to OikoLab? Can everybody tell me on the chat? There's a server called OikoLab. How am I going to send it? Somebody saying post. No, we are not going to do a post. It's a good one. We're not going to do a post. We're going to do a get. We'll use JSON. Very good. We'll do it in JSON format. We are going to do in JSON format. Okay. And we're going to send it via a get request. We're going to do it via a get request at the OikoLab API. Then using that get request, the answer we will get, the response of that get request is going to be another JSON, and that is going to be given to us, and then we're going to print it. Very nice. Very nice. People on YouTube also super. Somebody saying, is it like a dictionary? Yes, it's like a dictionary. So we're going to do like a get request and then take that response and then print it in our local machine. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So everybody is on the same page over here. Okay. Everybody is understanding and, getting all the things. All right. Let's moving on. Moving on. Okay. Now the next step comes is some actual coding part. Okay. So now some part will come here, which is an actual coding part over here. Just before I start with the coding, let's understand a little bit about this thing called OikoLab. So there is this company called as OikoLab. And they provide you many things called APIs. They give you something called as an API. As I said, they have an application programming interface API. And using that API, right? So using that particular API, you are going to get certain data out of it. Okay. Whenever you go to any API company, you should always check something called as their documentation. So as you can see on the top side, there is something called documentation. I'll open the documentation. And this is what you'll see as the documentation over here. They have many different kinds of documentation. Like you can do forecasts, seasonal forecast, air quality forecasts, and so on. We don't want to get into that. We'll just go to the weather. And when I go to the weather, what I can see is this is their API description. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't start thinking that, oh my God, what's happening? Somebody's asking, should I start coding with you? No. Just watch this entire thing. This entire thing will be available in recording to you. So you just watch this properly. And once I'm done, you just follow the steps that I'm doing. Okay. Hope that works for you. Now, let's focus on this part. This API documentation, if you learn how to read this API documentation, half your career is made there only. Like you will be able to start making applications really quickly. Now, there's a lot of stuff on the API documentation, and we'll get to these things one by one. But what you'll notice is that they've given you all of the different inputs that they can take. Okay. Now there's a bunch of stuff here. Don't worry, we'll go step by step. There's a bunch of stuff here. And then they also tell you that, okay, if you give me any of these different things, I am going to give you a response. And that response will have all the data that you need. Okay. The response is going to have all of the different data that you need over here. Okay. So they are telling you how to actually make the request, and they're telling you how to take the response. Now, if you start and read this thoroughly, you can also do it. But since I am there for you, I'll make a slight shortcut to make it easier for you all to understand. But then once we go ahead, we will, if you want to make more complex projects, you need to read this one thoroughly as well. When we look at the shape or the format that OikoLab requires, the format that OikoLab requires is something like this. For now, forget this import request and request.get. This is how you do a get request in Python, but forget that. I want you to look at this part very specifically. Okay. This part only, this is like a JSON object, right? This is a JSON object. And what are we doing in the JSON? We are telling OikoLab, hey, I want to know some things from you. Okay. And I'll remove this also, wind speed. I want to know some things from you in the format that you told me to ask. Okay. So I want to know something from you. What do I want to know? I want to know the temperature of a place. I put that in the param key. Why did I put that in the param key? If you read the documentation, you will come to know that whatever information you want. We just want temperature. But if you wanted, let's say, the wind speed also, if you wanted the surface thermal radiation, okay, to that detail, if you want something, you can tell OikoLab that you want that. In our case, I just want the temperature. So I'm saying parameter that I want is temperature. When do I want it for? The start date is given to us. I want it on some 1st October 2010. Okay. This we will not do. We will want it specifically, let's say on 2022. I wanted, let's say, yesterday. So that's like 1202. 2nd December is when I want it. And I want it only for that day. So I'll say 2022 1202, right? So that's the year, that's the month, and that's the date over here. So I want the starting and ending to be the same day, right? So I want it to be that on 2nd December 2022, what's the temperature? At what location? I put Delhi over here. You can put whatever location you want, but make sure the spelling is correct. Okay. So for example, if you put something like, let's say DLI and thinking that, hey, that's Delhi, that's how I say Delhi. No, it won't take it. In fact, it might return you some data, but that might not be a correct data. Finally, there is something called an API key. API key means there is some password that you need to put. Okay, so you need to create an account with OikoLab. I'll show you how. You need to create an account with OikoLab and you'll get something called as an API key. You're going to get an API key. You can put your API key over here. Now, why do they do this? They do this because they want to make sure that people out there are not going to spam it and going to start suddenly asking too much data, right? It will bring down their servers. For example, let's say you go to your college, right? Who has allowed access to your college? Only people who have the student ID card, right? Otherwise, if everybody is allowed in your college, they might all just come to your canteen and finish all your food, right? Because for students, many colleges, the food is free. So let's say they finish all the food over there. So what do? They make sure that only it's as much as you can eat. In most messes, you can eat as much as you want, but it's only for students with a student ID card. So this is like an ID card saying that, hey, you need to be a registered user with OikoLab. Otherwise, anybody and everybody will start asking for data. Now, registration on OikoLab is not difficult. You simply have to go here and you have to go to account and you have to click sign up. If you click sign up over there, you can actually sign up for the account. So you just go here, click sign up. The detailed step-by-step process is mentioned here on the tutorial. I'll give you this link at the end of the session. Once you go onto this link, this is how you'll get the certificate as well. Once you complete this, all the tasks here. And how to complete the tasks is you just have to follow my tutorial right now. So when you go here and you click this introduction, you will see the exact way of creating an account with OikoLab. Okay. So I mentioned here the step-by-step process that this is how you create an account with OikoLab. So you just follow the step-by-step process over here and you'll get the entire thing. Okay. Once you've done that, you are going to get something like called as an API key. Okay. Let's just recap the last 5 minutes that we've been spoken. Okay. What way am I going to communicate with OikoLab, everyone? Before that, to even start, which service is going to give me the temperature at a particular place? Which service is going to give me the temperature at a particular place? Which service am I using? Everyone? No, I want to know the name of the server, the name of the server. I want to know the name of the server that I'm using, the website that I'm using. Very good. OikoLab. OIKO, OikoLab. All right. This is not the only service on the internet. There are hundreds of such services. I found this one to be the most comfortable to use for our session today. So I have used this. You can use any one that you want. Okay. Yes, I'm going to use OikoLab. How will in what format am I going to communicate with OikoLab, everybody? In what format am I going to communicate with OikoLab? In which format? Very nice. JSON format. Can everybody give me the full form of JSON? Can you all give me the full form of JSON? JavaScript object notation. Super, super. And even YouTube, that was quite quick. So JavaScript object notation, really good to see. Okay. So JSON is that. Now, which request am I going to actually give for this JSON? Which request am I going to use? I'm going to use a GET request. Super. Okay. So you've got everything over there. I'll do a GET request. By doing that GET request, I am going to use a JSON format and my response will also be a JSON. I will take that JSON and then I will try to find the temperature. That's all that I need to do. In that JSON, I need to pass something called as an API key. API key is my personal password. Using that password, I can actually do this GET request. Otherwise, OikoLab will not allow me to do a request. Okay, it's like the college canteen where if I don't provide an ID card, then I'm not going to get the food. Okay, so it's not a free for all over there. Now, how do I do it? How do I actually get the API key? Simply, you have to go to the instructions. We have given you step-by-step instruction. Go to these instructions over here and get all of your API keys. You can get it from there. Now, how to actually join this course and so on, I'll tell you. It's completely free. Don't worry about that. The link I'll give you at the end, because otherwise you'll all start going right now. So I'll give you the link at the end. All right. So we've got all of these things so far. Now, one thing that we have to remember is what is going to be the over here, the response like. Okay, so now this is the interesting part, and now I'm going to start something called as coding. Now we're going to look at some coding part, and what I have here is something called as collab.research.google.com. Okay, this gives us, I'll tell you what this is also. 1 second. So I'm going to code on this website called collab.research.google.com. What is this all about? This gives you something called as a Python notebook. It gives you a Python notebook. What's a Python notebook? It's like this, where what happens is as I type things, the output comes out there and then. I don't have to, basically write whole program, execute it and so on. Somebody's asking, can I use Jupyter notebook? Any notebook is fine. Any Python notebook is fine. Okay, you can use Jupyter notebook as well. I'm going to use this because it's in the browser. Okay, can I use VS Code? Please go ahead and do it. For the purpose of this, I'm using a notebook. Okay, now what will happen is each notebook has something called as cells. I can run each cell one by one. You can ignore the first cell right now. In fact, we'll come back to the first cell. I'll just tell you how simply this works. I'll do print hello world, and if I press this button, it will execute this line of code there and then. Okay, so it's going to use this line of code and it's going to do it there and then. Can I use VS Code? Can I use PyCharm? You can use any of these things. Python, if you're using, you can use it. Don't worry about which software to use. Okay, so this is how a notebook works. You just run it and things keep running basically. Now, what did we say? We said we are just going to find out how this even works out. What is the response looking like? Okay, so what is the response looking like? Okay, so for that I will use a library called as requests in Python. I'm going to import requests. I'm going to use this library called requests, and I'm going to paste this code over here. Okay, this code is there, in which what I'm doing is I'm saying requests.get r is equal to requests.get, or let me say response is equal to requests.get. This is the URL. Whenever you are doing a request, you need a URL because you want to make that request, but where is that request even going, right? Somebody's asking, should I start coding? This entire recording will be available. You can code parallelly if you want, or you can just follow me along. Don't worry about coding right now. Just follow here, understand each point. Now, request.get, and this is the URL. See, we want to send it to the OikoLab server. You all agreed with me. Now, to send it, this is the API that you need to send it to. Okay. Now, the parameters that you're going to send is this. So I'm going to say on 2nd December, what is the location? The location for me is Delhi, right? So that's the location and my API key over here. Okay. So now I'm going to take my API key, which I had stored on the side for myself. So 1 second. I'm just going to take my API key and just going to take that here. This is my API key. Guys, don't steal it. Even if you do steal it, though, I don't think any issue will happen. It's just that there's a limit. There's a limit, just like how when you go to the canteen, you can eat maximum, I don't know, 1 serving or 2 servings. Same thing here, that you can only, you have certain limit per month. So don't exhaust your limit. Otherwise, you have to create a new one. All right. So this is the API key. I put this as start and location API key. This is the JSON that I'm sending to. Yes, this is the JSON I'm sending. And this is the request.get over here. Okay. Now that's the response. And what I'll do is I'll write response here. By writing response, by writing this response over here, what it does is it tells you what that response came out. Now, what the response came out here was response 200. This response 200 over here. Response 200 means okay. HTTP request, if it gives you something called 200, it means okay, everything is good, right? It's everything good. It's like green light in the signal. But this itself is not telling me much. The response is not telling me much. Like, what did the response come back as, right? I'm not getting much from that. You need to convert this response to a JSON. So I'll say response.json over here. And now what you will come to know is, this is the JSON that I got back. Looks very scary, right? Looks super scary and so on. You don't need to get scared on it, but it's giving you, hey, I'm going to give you all the different things. These are all the amazing things that you asked for. So I'm giving you all of those different things. And yeah, okay. Let's read all of this one by one. Okay, let's read this. Somebody saying, can you paste the code? No, not right now. Please just follow the entire tutorial. Okay. All right. So this is the response you got. First things first to get when you get a response like this is never get like, scared of the response. Let's try to understand the response one by one. And for us, the major thing that we are looking for is something called as data. All these other things are kind of useless. We are looking for specifically on data. So what I'm going to do is I'll say, okay, on this response, I want the data part over here. Okay, I just want the data part over here. So when I did this, I got that this is the data that you are getting at this point, right? So this is the different data that you get. Again, this data doesn't look too great. I mean, what do I make of this data? Like, what happens? What's exactly there? Let's go back to the documentation and try to understand what the response will look like. What they have told us is that in the response, what you are going to get, one second. Yeah. In the response, you're going to get something like this. Now you'll say, sir, but I did not get anything like that. I got something weird over here. Yeah, I will tell you how to get that. But you're going to get something like this, where you'll get a date. You'll get the coordinates of that place. Okay. You'll get the model, which model was used. Now they have an internal model of storing the temperature. There's an ERA5 model. There's a bunch of different, models that they have. Just like, let's say in cricket, you have different models to evaluate a cricketer, right? Some might say based on average, some might say based on strike rate and so on. So based on some model, they are actually storing the data. So again, not needed for us. They're going to give you model elevation service. We don't want any of that. We want temperature, which is in degrees Celsius, right? So you're going to get all of these different data and you're going to get these different rows and different columns. But you say, sir, I don't see any rows and columns over here. What are you saying that you are going to get a row and column? So what exactly are you talking about? Are we going to get a row and column here? Yes, you're going to get a row and column. But the thing is, the way it is made, the kind of format that it's given to us, it's not easy for us to understand what the row and columns are over here. And now comes the third piece of the puzzle. So just kind of recapping so far what we did, and then we'll go to the third piece of the puzzle. What did we do? We said we'll make a get response. We have still not taken input from user. We are saying, okay, on 2nd December, let's just find out, right? What's the scene, right? So on 2nd December, what is the, like, this is the start date, this is the end date, what's the location, like this Delhi, this is the API key. And I forgot one parameter. Let me add one parameter, which is called as how frequently do you want it? Okay. This is one more parameter. If you read their documentation, you'll get frequency equal to day. Why did I do this day? Because I want just that days. I don't want an hourly or minute wise data. I want just for that day. Now, if you see, the data reduced a lot. Why did the data reduce? Because earlier it was giving me minute by minute. If you look at it over here, it was actually giving you per hour. At midnight, it was this. At 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I didn't want that. I just want on that day, you tell me what is the temperature. So now the data is reduced because it's giving me just for that one day. Now, again, recapping the steps, what did we do? We said we are going to hit the OikoLab server with a GET request, and that GET request in response is going to give us the data, and that data is going to come back in a JSON format. Okay. Have we done this so far, everybody? Do you all agree that we have got some data back? We asked for some GET data. We asked for the data at 2nd December, and we got some data back in the form of a JSON. We got some data back, we converted to JSON, and we asked for specifically that data. Do you all agree that this part is done? This part is done. Do you all agree, disagree? What do you all say? Is that part done? Now, that data is not in the format that we want. We are going to figure that out. How do we do it? But it is in the JSON format, and it's giving us the data. Is everybody agreeing so far? Anybody has any doubts? Anybody has any doubts over here? Everybody clear that this process is done so far? This process is done. Okay, perfect. Now, super. Thank you so much. Right? Yeah. Now somebody is asking, how do we know our API key? All of those things, API key and so on, is mentioned on the tutorial. You will get the link on how to get to the tutorial in about 30 more minutes. In 30 minutes, we'll wrap this up. Don't worry. So you will get the link to that tutorial over there, and you can find that. Okay. Now, what we have here is we have something called as, we have been told that this is some kind of a table. In that table, you have these different columns. If you look at it here, right, you have these different columns over here. You have something called as an index, and you have something called as a data over here. Okay. Even within that data, you have further some data. What is this all about? Now comes the third piece of the puzzle. When I started the session, I said there are three parts of the things that we're going to learn: API, JSON, and what's the third thing, everybody? What is the third thing that we mentioned? Pandas. Super. Pandas. Okay. Now let's take a quick 5-minute detour. Okay. You're going all the way to Goa. You have to take a quick 5-minute detour to take a petrol break. You have to fill the car petrol. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, not to go anywhere, to understand a little bit about pandas. Okay. What does pandas do? Pandas is a powerful library in Python. What pandas does is it helps you deal with tabular format in Python. It helps you deal with something called as tabular format within Python. Okay. So how does that work? Let's say I have this list. In this list, I have different objects or different dictionaries. In Python, that JSON thing is called as a dictionary. So you have, let's say, a different dictionaries here of these marks. Okay. So let's say you have first person who is a student 1, who's having physics marks 100, 50 marks in chem, 75 in bio. Another person, student 2, 90, 55 and 73, and then student 3, 87, 49 and 97. Right? Let's say this is the case, right, of marks. Right? Now, if you look at it like this, I can convert this thing to into something called as a data frame. What I'll do is I'll say PD. So PD is nothing but pandas. What I did was I said import pandas as PD. Let me actually bring that here so that we can all watch that in one place. I said import pandas as PD. This is the standard way of importing pandas. Everybody imports it as PD. Import it as PD and said, take this list of marks that you have of each student, take that and convert it to a data frame. Now, magically, pandas is going to take that list and it's going to say, okay, student 1 had physics 100 marks, chemistry 50 marks, bio 75 marks. Student 2 had 90, 55, 73. Student 3 had 87, 49 and 97. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is, one, it helps us formulate in a data frame, and data frame is nothing but a tabular or a table-like format. With that table-like format, we are able to do multiple cool things, multiple things that which otherwise is more difficult to do in Python. One of the things that you can do, let me remove that part, is, for example, get only the physics marks. So I'll say, you know what, show me only the physics marks over here. And when I see that, I get that 100, 80, 90 and 87. In fact, I can say, what is the average of the physics marks? And I get that on average, people's marks are 92 in physics. Okay. What about in chem? Right. And you can say that in chem, average marks are 51. Okay. And what about in bio? It's 81.6 or 82. This, I'm just giving you a very brief of what pandas is able to do. Pandas is able to take the entire table thing and whatever you can imagine. Imagine what you can do with SQL, but kind of better. You can do it in pandas over here, and it allows you to do a lot of things. If any of you will eventually get into fields of machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, pandas is a must know. On that note, I want to know how many of you are in those branches? How many of you are in a data science branch, AI branch, machine learning branch, right? Mention your branch, right? Mention your branch. Okay, somebody says data science. Mention your branch in the chat, everybody. AI, ML. Okay, somebody's from mechanical. Somebody's from AI, data science. All right. Let me check on YouTube also. Come on, guys. Mention your branch. All right. Cybersecurity, super. Okay. AI, ML, blockchain. Nice. Oh, somebody's from MBA. Good to see you. AI, ML. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. AI and DS. All right. Nice to see. AI and DS. Triple E. All right. Perfect. Okay. Data science. All right. everybody who said data science, AI, ML, machine learning, AI and DS, AI and ML, all of these branches, and especially anybody else who wants to get into like Python and so on, pandas and NumPy must means must know. Python, first of all, you must know. Python definitely 100% you need to know. And on top of that, pandas and NumPy must know. So if you are still stuck in C++, Java and so on, it will not help you out in your branch at all. The reason is any of these data science libraries are not even present in other languages. They are only and only present in this particular language, which is of Python. Okay. All right. Let's get back now. Let's get back to our thing. So now we understood that something called as something called as pandas. Now, what were we doing, everybody? We took a small detour, right? Where were we going? Where were we going? We took a detour now. We were going somewhere and we took a detour. Where were we going? Okay, very good. We were going to Goa. Somebody's saying we were going to Goa. And why did we take the detour? Why did we take the detour, everybody? Right now? For having a fuel break. Okay, for having a fuel break. Okay. And in our words, what does that actually mean? We actually wanted to understand this response that came from Oiko, because it's a very weird response that we got. And I said, to understand this response, what you need to know is you need to know some of Python. So this response is like Goa for us, and this the pandas was like a fuel break. So we understood that there is something called as pandas. And using that pandas, I am going to now understand this particular tabular data. Okay. To understand this data, what I need to do is I'll need to, let me keep that here, by the way. Yeah. So to understand this data, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do import pandas as PD, and just follow along this, syntax that I'm going to write. Just the command is this. We'll not go into detail of how that command even come about and so on, but I'm just going to show you what that command looks like. All right. And this is from the official thing of OikoLabs. You don't even, let's say you're stuck, sir, how did you even come up with that? Don't worry. OikoLabs themselves gives you, how can you convert this thing into a data frame? Okay. So that is as follows over here. What it means is we are going to, let me take this response, whatever that response was, this one, right? So I'm going to say, let's say weather underscore data is equal to response.json of data. So whatever in that data that we got, I'm just going to store in weather data. And here, this is the format. The indexes of this data frame is going to be the index of this response. Now you'll say, sir, what's an index? In pandas, this thing, the 0, 1, 2, this is what is called as an index. OikoLab is telling us that your index is present here in response of index only. It's present here, not response of index. Sorry. Weather underscore data of index. It's mentioned here. Okay. The data itself is stored in a further data, and the columns itself is stored here. Just to show you all. Can you please explain the code? Yes, absolutely. See, if you see here, what's happening? It's given you some things called as columns. Let me just, try to expand this a little bit more. 1 second. Okay. This is the response that's coming back to us. Okay. This is the JSON response that you are getting here. Yeah. Okay. So this is the response that you're getting. What does this response mean? One second. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. What does this response mean over here? This response means these are the different columns. These are the different columns that you are going to get when in the response. So of the table, what OikoLab is telling you is that I am going to give you a table. Of the table, the columns are this. The columns are these things. The index is this. Now you'll say again, what is index? As I told you, in each table, there is each row has something called an index. In this case, it was 0, 1, 2. In our case, it's this particular number over here, right? This number here is called as the index. Right? This number is called as the index here. And the data, this is the data, 28.65, whatever, is the coordinates. 28.65 and 77, this is the coordinates, latitude, longitude. The name of the model is called GFS, whatever that name is. The model elevation surface is 220.47, whatever that means. The UTC offset hours is 5.5, meaning this is India time zone, 5.5, 5.5 hours. And the temperature on that day was 22.6 degrees. So what it's telling us is, for the given date, what's the given date? We gave the date of 2nd December. On 2nd December, the temperature in Delhi was 22 degrees. Now, you might agree, you might disagree with that. That's a separate story. But 22 degrees is what it's telling us was the temperature in Delhi at that point of time. This is the response. Now, we need to convert this response into a tabular format. How do you convert to a tabular format? By this. We say, see, the index is in which one? The index is in the index key over here. So we're telling pandas, get the weather data's index. That's your index. Index is equal to this. Okay. Unit is seconds. You can just trust me on this. This is the format for that. We don't have time to get into that. The data is this, weather data of data, because that's in the data key over here. And the columns are these, because it's mentioned over here what the columns are going to be. If you run this, and if I print the data frame, right? Let me just actually run this and get the data frame here. 1 second. String indices must be integers. Okay, we have. Just give me 1 second. Probably something wrong in that thing. Okay. No, not the unit. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll get this kind of a table. Now, in this table, everybody, I'll tell you what I fixed. Don't worry. In this table, where is the temperature? The temperature is here. So what OikoLab is returning to us is a table. They're returning the table to us, but not in this format. They're returning it to us in this format. And that table is returned to us in this format. We have to convert it to a pandas table first. And then that table is what we can query for. What does GFS means? GFS must be some model for which they are storing the data, right? Everybody has their own way of measuring the data, the weather and so on. So they must have something specific of GFS. If anybody can actually do a quick Google search on what GFS means in terms of weather data storing, that'd be nice. All right, everyone. So just recapping, what did we do? We said we need to get the data from OikoLab. We got the data from OikoLab. It's giving us in this weird table format, but that weird table format is not directly usable by us. So I need to take that table format. I need to take that table format and I need to convert it to a pandas data frame. How do I convert to a pandas data frame? I need to tell pandas, hey, this is the index. This is the index and the unit is seconds for it, right? That's the index. This is the data. Where do I get the data? I get it in the data key, and your columns are going to be in the columns key. From this you make the table. From this you make the table, and that's what pandas ends up doing for us. Okay, everybody, clear so far on this part? Is everybody clear? Understanding conceptually. When you do it actually yourself, you'll understand even more. But so far, conceptually, everybody getting it? Okay. All right. So now it's time to write our code, everyone. We've got all the parts. We've got all the moving parts, right? And it's time to write the code. Now somebody's saying, sir, earlier it was giving error. What did you do here to change that? I'll tell you in just a minute. Let's start writing our code. Okay. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to start from the very, very beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, let me say, we're going to start and we say that I want to do import JSON because that will be needed for our code. So I'm going to say import JSON, import pandas as PD because that will be needed. And I'll do import requests. Requests because request is the library that helps me do the get request. Now, what did the question say? The question said, I'm going to be given two inputs. What are the two inputs? I'm going to be given the city name. So I'll say city is equal to input. This is how you take input in Python. I'm going to be given the input over here and I'm going to be taking the date. So date is equal to input over here. Okay. So I'm going to take the city as input and I'm going to take the date as input over there. Fine. Okay. Once I've done that, what I need to do is I need to make a get request. I'll need to make a get request with this data. So I'm going to say response is equal to requests.get. Now in the request.get, first I need to put a URL, that is at which point I am going to actually make the request. So my URL is this. Usually the good thing to do is store it in a variable. Like this is the URL, right? And I'll say you go and hit the URL. I just stored it in the variable over there. Okay. Now, this is the thing. What are my parameters? So if you remember, my params equal to, these are my parameters. I have to send a JSON. Now, one technicality that I did not tell you all earlier, I'm going to tell you all right now. Python does not have a JSON. I'm going to repeat again. You'll say, sir, you are lying to us so far. You are using JSON. No, Python does not have JSON. Python has something called as a dictionary. The dictionary is very, very similar to JSON. It is a key value pair. And Python stores this as a dictionary. Now, what this one is going to do is, your request is going to do is, it's going to take this dictionary and convert it to a JSON. So Python will do that conversion to JSON part because anyways, this is a key value pair. Okay. Now, what are the params that we are going to actually put here? So I'll just give you the params one by one. Right. These are the different params we wanted. We wanted just the temperature. I don't want anything else. I want just the temperature. The start, I want the start date. What date is that? That is this date. So I'm going to put the date here. Now notice I'm not putting specifically 2nd December or 3rd December or whatever, because the date is going to come as input from the user. Then location is going to be the city. Again, I'm not putting Delhi, Bangalore, whatever. I'm specifically just saying city over here. Then end date is going to be the same thing as date because I wanted just for that particular date. My key is going to be the same key that I told you all. So I'm going to use that key over here. And again, let me put that as a variable. So oiko_key or API key, just a variable name is this. So now I have the key over here. This way, I'm going to get the response. Okay, let me actually just tell the response as well. Let me print out the response over here. So when I print out the response, I'll get something like, I should ideally get a 200 unless you all have exhausted my API keys, which that will be very funny. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, it's waiting for input from me. It's not that I've exhausted, it's waiting for input from me. So let me give the input. Let me again go with Delhi, right? Delhi, and date being 1202, that is 2nd December. Okay, let me give this. And once I give that, I should get a response. I got a response 200 over here. Okay, I got a response 200 here. Now it's not enough to do that. If I want to convert this response to a JSON, this thing response.json is allowed. It basically takes the whatever is the response over there, and it converts to a JSON over there. Okay, so I'm going to take that response. What do you say? I'm going to take that response and I'm going to take that data of it. Okay, I'm going to take this data, and let me just say that weather_data is equal to this. Okay, and let me just again run this. Let me again just run this, and again let me give the value of Delhi. And what did we say? 20221202. All right, let me give this value. Now what we are going to get over here is the weather data. Okay, if I just go down and I just do weather_data like this, I can see what the data is, and the data is this. Now one thing I want you all to notice is, what is the type of this weather data? Tell me what's the type of this weather data, everyone. I just ran it. What do you think is the type of this weather data? What's the type of this data? Very good. It's a string. Now it says, sir, but you always told me that it's going to come in JSON format. This looks like a string. You're absolutely correct. It is a string. And this was the error we were facing earlier. What happens is the response that you get is in JSON format, but they're going to send it to you in a string. They're going to send it to you in a string. An easy way of telling that is, I'm going to give you the answer in a number, but the number is going to be stored in a string, right? So it is in a JSON format, but that JSON format, the server is sending you in a string. It's just sending you in a string. So now what I need to do is, I need to understand this string or to convert it to a dictionary of Python. What I need to do is, I need to do something called as convert it to a dictionary. How do I do that? I will do something called JSON.loads weather data. When I do this, it converts this now to a dictionary. So let's say now I say weather underscore data is equal to this. And then I do type of weather underscore data. Let's say I did this. What will happen is I got a dictionary. Dictionary is nothing but Python's own version of a JSON. So the server was, even though it's giving me in the JSON format, the data type was a string. I needed to convert that data type into a dictionary, and that's what happened here. Okay, perfect. I converted that to a dictionary. My life is still not enough right now. What happened here? Sorry, I'll need to just run this again. So for now, let me just, instead of taking input again and again, I'll just put Delhi and I'll just put this because I'll have to again take input. So let me do that. And I got my weather data over here, right? So this is my weather data. But again, that is not enough. That weather data is great. Weather underscore data is great. It's a dictionary. But what I would really like to do on this one is I want to get it in the format of a data frame. So now next part comes is converting this to a data frame. And we'll use the same syntax that we did earlier, which was this, right? Which is convert this to the index. And if you are not sure where we got this, don't worry. I got it from here only. Okay, I've taken it from here only. You don't need to overthink it, what's happening. Simply, OikoLab is itself telling you that, hey, take this data frame. Now, when I run this and I got this data frame, I'm getting this. Okay, perfect. So far, so good. Now, what do we want exactly, everybody? I want exactly the temperature. I want the temperature on that particular date. How do I query this thing for a temperature? I'm going to use one thing called as locate in a data frame. And I'm going to use a method called as iloc. Iloc means locate by index. Locate by index. So I'm going to say iloc. What iloc is going to ask is, which row do you want? Now, remember, what is in our case? In our case, we are only going to get one row because I want just the data for that day. So I'm going to get one row. So in that row, which is the first row? This, it will be only one row. So on the 0th row, which column do I want, everyone? I want the temperature. So which column will it be? Can you all tell me which column it's going to be? It's going to be, somebody saying column 5, somebody saying column 4. In programming, where does the numbering start from? 0, right? So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and then temperature comes as 4. So I'll say, get me the 0th row, 4th column. When I run this, I'm going to get the temperature here. In the question, they want it just in integer format. So it comes down to this, and we need to print it in a certain way. So the way to print it is something like this. Say temperature for Delhi on this is equal to, so we'll say, let's say temperature is equal to this, right? And we'll say print temperature for Delhi on the given date. So this would be, we have to substitute here. We'll have to substitute city. And we'll use one thing called f string, which actually substitutes it. So for this city, on this date is equal to this temperature Celsius. All right, let's run it. Temperature for Delhi on this date is equal to 22 degrees Celsius. let's run this. Let's actually put all of these things into our code over here. So let me just put that here, for example. Okay. Let me take that, put it here. So far, I got the weather data. Then what I need to do is I need to convert it to a JSON or a dictionary here, and then print that, right? Convert it to a data frame, convert the temperature, and then print it here. Okay. So what did I do? I didn't write the entire code in one place on the Edyst platform right away. What I did instead was I did it step by step, took the output on the notebook, and once I had the output correctly as what I wanted it, then I put it over here. So let me just run it and see if there are any issues in the formatting and so on. Let's see. Let's have a look. Okay. There is a slide. Okay, got it. In this case, we didn't take input. We are just hard coding our values. So we have to take input over here. This part we forgot to take input. And same thing here, input. Now let's run it. So what is it saying? For the input Delhi for 1st September 2022, the expected is it should be 31 degrees Celsius. And we got it also as 31 degrees Celsius. Let me submit it. Right? Okay. Is this part clear, everybody? Did everybody understand this part? Is everybody clear over here? Okay. This was the first milestone of our project. This was the first milestone of our project. In the next 15 minutes, I'll tell you the second milestone. But is this clear so far? Can I have a clear on the chat as well as on YouTube? Can I have a clear, everybody? We'll have space for questions and so on at the end. All right. We'll have space for questions and all at the end. Okay. Somebody saying, can you tell about the iLog? iLog is nothing but given a, what do you say? Let's have a look at the data frame again. Let's just have a look at the data frame again over here. Given a data frame, what iLog does is it goes to a particular row and goes to a particular column and gets the data from there. We know there is only going to be one row because it's only one day, right? So for that 0th row, for the 4th column, why the 4th column? Because temperature is in the 4th column over here. Get me the temperature. So that's what iLog is giving me over here. iLog gives you 0th row, 4th column. There are other ways to do it. For example, if you had something, if you have done something of this sort, if you have done just df of, let's say, the column name, right? So this is the column name over here. If you had just done this, you could have also got that particular column's values, right? If you're done just this, you can get that particular column's value also, right? So that's another thing you can do. But I felt that this was the simplest one that everybody would understand, right? So that's why we did it like this. Okay. Somebody is asking, what is the API key? API key is the key that you need to actually query OikoLab. Otherwise, OikoLab will not give you the response. That's what the API key is all about. How do you get your own? The tutorial mentions that on the website. And how do you get to the website? I'll give you the link in just a bit. You'll also receive it by email as well. Okay. Let's do the second part of this. Let's do the second milestone as well. So, and by the way, everybody, when you join this free certificate thing, you will also get tutorials on what are APIs, what is JSON, and so on. So even if I hurried through it a bit, if you feel like, you can get a detailed tutorial on this yourself as well. Okay. So we just completed the first one. Let me just look at the second one really quickly, which is the milestone number 2. Now the milestone number 2 is very, very similar. The only difference it's saying is, what I want you to do is, you're going to be given 2 cities. You're going to be given 2 cities and you're going to be given a date. And what they are trying to say is that, let's say you're going to both of those cities for 1 week. Let's say on 28th May, you go to Delhi, and you have the choice of going to Bombay for 28th May. Between these 2 cities, you have to choose that city whose temperature variance is the least. Now, what is variance? Variance is a statistical property, just like average mode, mean, median mode, like all those things. There's something called as variance. It basically measures how much something is fluctuating, how much something is changing. Why do we want to care about the variance? See, if the weather in that week continuously goes up and down, then as a tourist, as a holiday person, you will have to carry multiple clothes. You'll have to carry summer clothes, winter clothes, and so on. But if the weather is constant, let's say it's hot throughout or it's cold throughout, you'll have to only carry one set of clothes at that point, right? So the decision they are making is, if it has lesser variance, I want to go for that city. Okay, the one which has least temperature variance. So for example, here, if you were to go on 28th May to Delhi or to Mumbai, they are saying Mumbai is better because the temperature variance is lesser. There is going to be less variance in the temperature over there. Okay. Now, how will we find this out? We have to do two things. We have to ask OikoLab what is the temperature on each of the days from 28 till the next week. So it's not just, what did we do here? We said start date is today, end date is also today. No. We want end date plus 7. We want end date plus 7 over there. So we have to tell OikoLabs, give me the temperature for Delhi from 28 to 28 plus 7, from Mumbai for 28 plus 7. I will convert it to a data frame. I will check the variance. Now, the good part about this is data frame gives you a variance very, very easily. Okay. How? If I look at, let's say, def of temp, right? One second, it's not temp. It was very something, temperature, deg-c or something like that, right? We'll just check the data frame again, right? Let's just check the data frame here. And let's just take the column. Yeah, so this is the column here. If I take that column name, right, and I do dot VAR, not video assistant referee, but like variance. Wait, was it VAR or hold on, what is it? Yeah, it's VAR only, but the thing is there's only one temperature there, right? Okay, let's add some more. For example, date is this. Let's say the end date, this was 2 December, right? Let's say the end date is 2022 and 9th December. Let's say that was the case. So let me just run this. Let me run this after that. And then let me see what is the temperature. So if I see this, I get that from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, these are the different temperatures. Why? Because I just got the temperature column. Now within that column, if I wanted to do the variance, it'll tell me the variance is of 0.42. Okay, it's telling me the variance, it's varying by 0.42. What does that mean? It won't really tell you much, 0.42 by itself. If you compare it to something else, it will tell you. So it's more of a comparative thing. Within itself, the variance, it's not going to tell you much. But 0.42, it's varying. Okay. All right. Understanding everybody here so far, like what I'm trying to get at, we are going to be given 2 cities. In those 2 cities, temperatures we have to take for the week. And for that week, find the variance for each and then figure out which has the lesser variance. Everybody clear here? Okay. Perfect. All right. What I'm going to do is, instead of writing this function 2 times or writing this thing 2 times, I'm going to make this thing a function. I'm going to say def get temperature. Okay. Get the temperature for a city from some start date to some end date. This is called a function. I don't know how many of you know functions in Python, but this is what is called as a function in Python. How many of you heard of a function in Python? Have done function in Python? Some of you are art students only, so I'm sure you must have heard, but others heard, didn't hear. Perfect. So I'm going to write this function so that I can call this function again and again. Start date, end date is there. Okay. And what it's going to do is, this is the function over here. All right. City, I don't need to define now. City will come from the function. Date, I don't need to define, it will come from the function. URL, Oiko key remains same. Parameter is temperature. Start date now comes start date. Okay, people on YouTube have also heard. Super. Location is the city. End date is again the end date over here. Key and then frequency is day. D over here means I want a daily frequency over here. Okay, so that's what's going to be the case. And we are going to what we'll do is we are just going to get the temperature, right? What's the best way to make it? What should we return in this case? Let's return the entire column. Let's return the entire column. So let's say this is weather data. We'll make it into a JSON here itself. Okay. And then we'll convert it to a right? And what we'll do is, we'll get the variance also. We'll get the variance also here itself. So it's not just the temperature data. We will in fact say get temperature variance. Get the temperature variance for a particular city. That's what we're going to do. So variance is equal to this, and what we'll do is we'll return variance over here. So basically what we did was we created a function that it queries, it gets that result, converts it to a dictionary, converts that to a data frame, converts in that, gets only the temperature column, gets the variance, and returns the variance. All of these things this function is doing. All we need to do now is to just call the function. So let me just call the function over here. The function is get temperature variance. Let me call the function get temperature variance for Mumbai on the date. Let's say again 28 May. So that will be 2022-05-28. And what's 1 week after that? What would be 1 week after 28 May? I guess 3rd June, right? Or 4th June. 1 week later would be 4th June, right? I guess, yeah. Whichever is the case, that's fine. Right? Let's go for 3rd June. Okay. So this will get the temperature variance for Mumbai from this date to this date. Let's see if we get any errors. Okay, we've got an error here. Is not defined. Okay, sorry. We didn't actually run this. Yeah, no. Okay, so for Mumbai, the variance is 0.07. For Mumbai, the variance is that. And let's run it for Delhi also for the same dates. All right. So when I run it for Delhi, I get 0.44. Which has lesser variance, everyone? Which one has lesser variance over here? Mumbai. So we ended up choosing Mumbai to go for a vacation. I don't want to start a Mumbai versus Delhi war here. Although I have my own biases, but let's not start that over here right now. But suffice to say, on this, specifically on this parameter, Mumbai would be the better destination just on data. That's it. You can do whichever one you want. You can choose whichever place to go to. But yeah, this is the case. Okay, so let's take all of this. All right, let's take this and let's now put it into our code over here, which is the second milestone. This is the second milestone. So I'm going to put it here. And what I'm going to say is, okay, so this is define this. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So I'm going to put this here. So this is defined. Now I need to take 3 things as input. And there is one small catch still remaining because it's going to be 5 minutes more, but it's going to be one small catch. So I'll say city 1 is equal to input. This is the city 1. City 2 is equal to input. This is fine. Start date is equal to input. This is fine. End date. What about the end date, everybody? Somebody asking when the session will end. About 10 more minutes it will end. But how do I get the end date, everyone? How will I end up getting the end date for this? I got the start date. Remember, in our thing, end date, I manually did it. But how do I get the end date here? How will I get the end date over here? Start date plus 7, yes, that's true. But the start date is a string. How do you do plus 7 just like that? And it's always plus 7 because 28 May plus 7 will give me 35. All right? Yeah, getting the issue here, everyone. So now we have this slide, and this always happens, everyone, especially when you're dealing with dates. Always happens where you have to, when you're dealing with the real life stuff, you have to deal with these kind of complexities. So we have to take one small, not petrol break, this time we'll take a diesel break, very, very small one. Don't worry about it. Okay. What we'll need to do is we will need to create a date object out of this. Okay. Now the way a date object works is you have something called as date time object is what you get, a date time object. Python has a library for date time. So I'm going to just say import date time, and we're going to use this date time object to help us do the calculation. Some people are saying just convert to int and do plus 7. My friend, 28 plus 7 will be 35. There is no 35 out there. Then if it's February, you will have to do something for leap year. You'll have to take care of something else. You'll have to write a whole class for this. You get what I'm saying? Let's say it's 28 February or 27 February, but it's 2020. You'll say, sir, yes, sir, there will be a leap year. But 2021, now you'll have to take care of all those things. You understand what I'm saying, everybody? It's not as simple as just doing +7. Did everybody understand why it's not simple? That just do +7 will not work, right? Purposely, I took the example also. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called as a datetime object. And the way to do a datetime object is to do datetime.datetime. This will create a datetime object. Why am I doing a datetime object? It's easier to add and subtract on datetime. Python will take care of all the addition, subtraction of dates. I need to put here the year, whatever the year is over here, the year string, not the year string also, sorry. We have to put the integer part of it. So I have to put the year integer, the month integer, and the day integer. Okay. Now remember, the input I'm going to get is something like this: 2022, 1202, something like this. I need to get the year out of it, the month out of it, and the day out of it. The year, month, and day is what I need to get out of this. How do I do it, everyone? I will do something called as, I will split it. Okay. I will actually have to split this thing. So I'll just say, start date equals to start underscore date dot split. I'll have to do this. And for those of you who are not sure what's actually going on here, let me also show you by an example. Let's say I have start underscore date is equal to 2022 1202. Okay. If I do start underscore date dot split by this dash, I'm going to get a list. I'm going to get a list which gives me 2022 separately, 12 separately, 02 separately. This is still not enough because each one of them has to be an integer. Okay. So what I got here is I got start date now will be like this: 2022 12 and 02. Right? This is what it's going to be. But each one of them has to be an integer. So how do I do that? How will I convert it to an integer? Let me say this is the datetime object, obj1 object, datetime object. Okay. How is this going to be an integer? How do I convert it? I will take int of start underscore date of 0. Then convert this also, the month part, start underscore date of 1. Remember, now start of underscore date is a list. And here, start underscore date of 2. So now my object gets created like this. Okay, my object actually gets created. And just to show you all over here as well, and let me just show you here. Okay, now my object got created over here. One second. Okay, start underscore date is equal to, I forgot to do this equal to part in this code. I did it in the Edyst platform. Yeah. Why did you use hyphen? Because hyphen is what is going to be given to me. Hyphen is what is going to be given to me in terms of the input. I put a dash here to say that please split this thing. Please split this thing into 2022, 12, and 02. I'm going to actually split the entire thing into that, right? So somebody saying it might be easier with slicing. Absolutely, it might be easier. You please go ahead and do that. There's no problem there. Now, if I look at object one, it's saying that it's a date time and it's of this way. Now, how do I print this? If I had to print it, how do I print it? So just to show you all how to print it, if I wanted to print this date, I would say strf time, right? So it's like saying string from time. Okay, string from time. And I'll print first. Okay, don't worry. You might think that, oh my God, what happened here? Sir is doing all these weird things. No. These are just some standard syntax you need to know. This was a date which was given in string. I need to do some arithmetic on it. I need to do +7 on that, right? I need to do a +7. So what did I do? I converted to a date time. And if I want to print it back to a string, I can do it like this, which is string from time, print the year, month, and the date. But I'm not yet done what I wanted to do. What did I want to do? I wanted to get the end date over here. Okay. So what's the end date? The way to get the end date is you take this object. I'll say obj2 object2 is equal to object1 plus I'm going to use again the date time library, but this time I'm going to use a function called time delta. And I'm going to say, give me a time delta of 7 days. That means bring it forward by 7 days. Time delta of days is equal to 7. Okay, days is equal to 7. So this is my object2. Now let me just print object2 also. To get end date. Okay, let me print both start time and end time. So let's say print this, and let's say print this over here. Okay, so my start date is some 2nd December, my end date is 9 December. The beauty of this is, let's say you are on 02 and let's say 27 February 2022. Okay, let's say you are doing that. So on 27 February, it says that after 7 days, you'll have 6 June. But if you are in 2020, Python will take care of all the leap business, and I'll say it's on 5th March, not June, sorry, 5th March, 6th March and 5th March over here. Okay. We took a small break. What did we take the small break for, everybody? What did we take the small break for? Everyone? Date time, diesel. Very good. You still remember. So you took it for diesel or the date time. So I hope you understood date time. Date time is also a huge library. It's a very, very big library. But we took it for one thing very specific, which was I just wanted to get the start and end date. Okay, great. So I did that over here. Now let's go back to our scenario here. What did we want to do? I got the object1 here. I'll say object2 is equal to object1 plus date time dot time delta. Date time dot time delta, days is equal to 7. Days is equal to 7. Now, OikoLab doesn't care about your date time and all of that. It wants it in string format. We did this just to get the plus 7 days. We did this just to get the plus 7 days, but OikoLab wants it in string format. So what I'll do is, now I'll say start underscore date is equal to obj1 dot. How do I convert it to a string? We saw this strf time, percentage y, percentage m, percentage d, right? That's for that. And then comes the end date, and underscore date is equal to object2. You convert it to this. Okay. Now what do I need to do? I need to get the temperature variance of each of the cities. So I'll just say, let's say variance 1 is equal to get temperature variance. This is a function we already wrote. What do we do in that function? We say city start date and end date. So I'll take city is city1. We took that as input. City1 start underscore date, end underscore date over here. Okay. And for second city, it is variance 2, city2 start date and end date. Finally, what do I need to print? I need to print we choose whichever city. So I'll say if variance 1 is less than variance 2, then which one will we choose, everyone? If variance 1 is less than variance 2, then should we choose city 1 or city 2? Should we choose city 1 or city 2? City 1. So if variance 1 is less than variance 2, we'll choose print. We choose city 1. Use f string here to substitute because of less temperature variance. Else we choose city 2 because of less temperature variance over here. Let's run this, see if any issues are there. I believe one issue, I think we didn't do import date time. Okay, 1 second. Response.json. We did that. Okay, what's the error here? 940. Data not there. Okay, no problem. Let me just take this code here. It'll be better to debug. Okay, it's waiting for input, right? Let's give it this input. Delhi, Mumbai, and the date is this. Just give it this input. All right. Okay, it's not getting in data. Okay, so we have to see what happened here. Is response.json of data? Is the response not coming? URL is given. Param is this. Start date. Location is city. End date. Oiko key is given. Frequency is date. I think. 1 second. Let me also print response.json over here so that we come to know what's the issue. So Delhi, Mumbai, and 022, let's say 0228. Let's just say 6. Okay. Okay. So that's what I think. You guys used up all of my free units. So that's why we can't really test this one out. So I think my API key has been exhausted because somebody used most of them. So that's that's one thing. But yeah, if you use my API keys, then that's what's going to happen. Please generate your own API key. But yes, this is the what do you say? This is the code for it. And if you run this code and if you submit it, it will work out. My API keys have been exhausted because you all used it up, right? I can generate a new one. You just have to give me 5 minutes. I'll do that meanwhile. So yeah, everyone, that's the code. Anybody has any doubts or questions, right? Anybody has any doubts or questions so far? This is the correct code. It can't hit the API because my API keys were exhausted because of who. All of you fine people over here have exhausted my API keys. So that's what's happened. Yeah, good going, guys. Yeah. Anyways, so anyway, any doubts or questions and so on, can I share the code? This entire thing is available to you and the code will also be available to you. Okay. Is the first and second half of singular and multiple cities two different codes? First and second, no, they're almost the same thing. They're almost the same, right? Okay. Yeah. Now the important part of where do I actually get to see all of this, right? So where do I get to see all of this and where can you see the code? You can all sign up for it over here. This is the link. Okay. You just remember this link. You can just go to this link and bit.ly/py-weather. Okay. So you can just go to this one, this link, right? Somebody saying, is that why error is coming because of wrong format? No, it's very clearly says because of this, because of people using monthly free unit has been used up. That's the reason. Okay, that's the case. Anyways, go to this link, everybody. Everybody, please go to this link. Yes, thank you so much, Aditya, for sharing it as well. If you go to this link, you can all go ahead and try out this as well. But you will all need to generate your own API key. Okay, sir, we can see the recorded class. Yes, absolutely. Just go to Edyst YouTube channel. Please go to the Edyst YouTube channel and you will get the answer. Can I use strobj1 to convert into string? I don't think so, but if it's possible, just try it out. Such questions, you just try it out. Just try it out and let me know if you can or cannot, right? So you should just go ahead and try it out. Like, let's see. No, you can't, right? Because you're going to get a full date time here. So that's why you can't use strobj1. Okay. Coming back, everybody, please go to this link. When you go to this link, this is what will open up for all of you. This is what opens up for all of you here. You're going to get something like this, which is which is your cohort. This is what you're going to get. Let me just check. It's going to take a bit of a time to load up. Hold on. Yeah. So that's the case. And once you go there, this is the first chapter. In this chapter, you will get all of the resources, including the first topic. And in the first topic, we have mentioned the way of getting your Oiko key, right? So your OikoLab key, you're going to get there. You'll get that here on the first topic itself. It's taking a little bit of time to load because my computer is running this entire live stream as well. So it's taking time for me. Anyway, When you click this, you're going to get how to generate your own key. Don't use my key. My key is already exhausted. I'm purposely not generating a new key because you'll steal that also. So just use a new key and you'll get it. You can go through the JSON and Python tutorials and then finally do the 2 milestones. The code for this will be available here. I have not yet updated it, but simply when you go to the hint section on each question, there will be a hint section. On that hint section, you are going to get the code available to you also. So you can find that code in the hint section as well. I've not updated it yet. I want you all to try it out first and then you can check it out. But the code is there and you can also just follow this entire tutorial to get the code as well. Okay. Just wait for it to load. As I said, my computer is a bit slow today because I'm streaming everything, but should be fine for you all. All right. So anyway, you go there, you'll see a hint section pretty soon and you'll get it. Anyway, this is where you join the project, everybody. Okay. This is where you join the project. When you complete this, the 2 milestones, automatically you will get a certificate. Automatically you'll get a pop-up on the right side saying download your certificate. Okay. So automatically you're going to get that, which will say download certificate. Somebody saying server rush. Okay, just wait 5 minutes to go in. Everybody, just wait 5 minutes and go in. Right? You don't. Although I'm checking the servers literally on my other system. Servers are fine. It's my system, probably your system as well. Right? Okay. Another thing, another big announcement I just wanted to make for everybody. If you like this session and you want to actually upskill yourself to a much more greater degree, Edyst has something else as well, called as the Edyst Data Science Internship. Yes, that's right. You can actually get internships in data science. What we are actually doing is we are helping you get a data science internship experience. This is more of an educational internship experience where what you get to do is you get to actually take a real life problem, in this case a house price, not horse price, but a house price prediction. Given a lot of houses, today we just did temperature, but if you're given a lot of houses, can you predict the price of that? So we have this thing called as an internship. It's an educational internship opportunity. You get a joining letter from us. You'll get a report in the form of in the format that AICTE wants it. And you'll also get a completion certificate. This is not free. It's a paid internship. You can check it out on our website. It has been made by industry professionals. I am involved in the making, as well as Shubham. He's a software developer at Microsoft, has taught more than 5,000 students. And he's worked in the data as well as the virtual reality team of Microsoft. You can get that. Benefits of doing this internship is you don't just get this, you get like a joining letter, you get a report as well as a completion certificate. This is the kind of certificate that you'll get mentioning from what date to what date you are there. Other interesting things is you can actually, we'll guide you on how to upload your project to GitHub. So we'll show you how you can get it on GitHub. That will greatly help your resume and improve your chances of getting selected in campus rounds. You will also get guidance on how to explain the project in an interview, as well as how to put it on your resume. So it's a new offering that we have launched. Go ahead and check it out, especially all CSE, data science, AI, ML people. If you are interested in adding, if you're interested in adding experience to your resume, this will be really, really helpful. The price somebody is asking, the price for this is 1,999. So you can just go to the website, pay 1,999. As soon as you pay, within 24 hours, you will also get your joining letter as well. So for the data science internship, Habib has shared the link as well. And for the data science internship, you can go to this link. If you're watching on YouTube, the link for the description link is in the description below for the data science internship as well. So you can just go to there on YouTube and you can get that also done. All right. So I urge everybody to join before the next week, because next week, same time, I'm going to be doing an orientation for everybody joining the internship. The internship is self-placed, right? The internship is self-paced. It's a 1-month internship. It's self-paced. So you can do it at your own time, but the orientation happens on specific dates. So the last orientation happened previous month. This orientation will happen next week. So make sure you join this internship. There is a free module on the internship also. Just go ahead and check out the internship. The internship, somebody is asking how long is it? It is designed to be a 1-month internship. You can take longer if you want. You can take shorter if you want. But the certificate will be for a 1-month internship. Yeah. Okay. So. And those of you who have zero knowledge in Python completely, everything I said here was like Latin and Greek to you all. You can go to edyst.com and we have a free Python course also. this will teach you the basics of Python enough to solve any of these projects and so on. So go ahead and join our free Python course if you feel like, right? So that's another thing. So 3 things totally I've told you. If you want the certificate of this today's webinar, if you want the certificate of that, that is this one, today's, then you need to go to this link, bit.ly/py-weather. You need to go to this link and you can get started. Solution already I've discussed. And when you actually go here, you'll see a hints here. You'll get the code also of this question over here, okay, on the hint section. That's one. Those of you who want to join the internship is a paid internship in the sense you have to purchase the internship. It's an educational internship. You'll get all of the requirements of an internship and you'll get to learn over here. You are not if you don't have the skills, you can't really produce anything. So we are teaching you over here. You will have to pay for the internship, okay. For the people who are so this, if you just want to join the project, go to this link. If you want to join the internship, go to this link. This link is also mentioned on YouTube in the description, so you can go there. And if you don't want any of this and you just want to get into a free Python course, then you just have to go to edyst.com. We have free courses. In the free courses, just learn some free Python and that will also help you out. Okay, cool. What's the last day to submit this project? This project is open for anybody in the future. Also, the project, anybody can come in and get the project and get the internship, but only the first 5, or rather the 5 lucky people will be chosen from the first 100 people. So 5 lucky people will be chosen from first 100 people, and guaranteed you must share your certificate on LinkedIn. Then you're going to get those 5 people will get a gift voucher from us. Okay. Somebody saying, can I join the internship in January? Yes, you can. We will have an orientation in January also. But if you want to make it for the orientation for next week, then please join within this week. So you can join for the orientation for next week. Okay. All right. Any other questions, everybody? Any other questions? Where do we find the hint section? So you will not find it right now, but you see the FAQs. On the right side of FAQs, you'll find the hint. As soon as the session is over, I'll update it. Okay. How do we get the certificate? My friend, you complete all of these things. You complete all of these things and complete the code. On the right side here, you will get the certificate. So you complete all these things and then you'll get a certificate here. Somebody saying, is the internship for limited period of time? Not specifically limited period, but you should finish it within 1 month as much as possible. You'll get the certificate only for 1 month. We'll all get certificate for completion of project. Yes. For this project, yes, everybody will get it if you complete the project. Yes. Are there any internships for web development? Please follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. We are going to get some internships on web development pretty soon. At which date we have to submit this project? As soon as you get the time, please join it. Please submit it. Can we join internship in Jan or Feb? Yeah, the internship will be live then also. Again, please keep following the orientation dates. It's very critical to attend the orientation. It will help you complete the internship. So join the orientation whenever, so follow the orientation dates. That's why I was saying, next week we have an orientation. After that, we'll have another one. So just keep following the orientation dates. I didn't get certificate even though I've completed course. Just wait 5 minutes. You'll get the certificate as well. Okay. So Rajkumar, wow, that was really quick. Nice to see. The link for project is not working. Is the link for project working for you all, everyone? It is working for me. Is working? Okay. All right. Somebody saying it's working. Somebody saying it's not working. Not sure why you would say that. Let me just try it out. Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe you guys are not typing it correctly. Here you go. Again, I'm putting, please link this. Please click this link. It'll work. I'll just show you when you click it. If you're, it will just open it up, everybody. It will not, you don't need to register or anything. It'll just open up. Will there be any more classes for this project? Not for this. There will be another class next week for another project. So please subscribe to us on all our channels. So you'll get all the updates as well. There'll be another thing soon. Okay, so you do it. And who is this? Rajkumar. So huge congratulations for Rajkumar for completing this project already. Can we have a huge round of applause on the chat? Just clap emoji is also fine. Clap emoticons is also fine. Right. So Rajkumar, that was really, really quick. Nice. Congratulations. Wow, superb, superb. Okay, how was the session, everybody? Did you all enjoy? Did you all enjoy the session? Is it something new? Any feedback? Any suggestions? Interesting. Interesting. Okay, cool. Nice to know. Nice to know. It was a crispy session. Nice. I like it. Crispy. Nice and interesting. Learned about APIs. All right. So everybody remember, there is one thing that you can just learn, and the other thing is doing. Please don't stop doing. Always, whatever you learn today, please apply it to yourself, and you will get many, many more projects. The projects that I have shown you is just like the tip of the iceberg. Now imagine with this data, what are all the different projects that you can make now for yourself. So start trying to make all the different combinations. Now see, this project itself, some 1,000 people are going to take it. Everybody, or these 1,000 people are going to have it on the resume. How are you going to differentiate this project? Maybe you don't take 2 cities, maybe you take 3 cities, maybe you take 10 cities. In those 10 cities, you say that, do you want temperature between 5 to 10 degree? Go for this city. If you want temperature between 10 to 20, go for this city, and so on. So don't just settle for what is given to you. We are making our best effort to make this new and interesting for you all, but then you also have to go a little bit farther and beyond, right, and try to make it a little bit different, right? See, Indian cricket team, everybody's eating the same food, but some people are more fit than the other. Why is that? Why are more people fit? Because they are going out there and they're going actually exercising and doing those extra drills, right? And it shows on the field who's more fit and who's able to make more runs. Same thing for you all. Right, so just keep going above and beyond. Don't settle for the normal thing that you're doing. Okay, all right, so the code will be available in the hint section, everybody. I'll give that to you all. Thanks so much for joining today. Really nice to see you all. And if you want to connect with me personally as well, you can just follow me on LinkedIn, Anik Dholakia on LinkedIn. Just search for Anik Dholakia, you'll get it, or Anik Edyst on LinkedIn. So do follow me there in case I do share some updates there also. So do there also. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today. Wishing everybody all the best. Have a good weekend. Have great exams. I know a lot of you have exams, and do enjoy the FIFA World Cup. Right? I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys enjoy it too. So thank you, sir. Thanks everybody for joining today. And yeah, we'll catch you all next time. Thank you so much.